Straight ahead on WBKB, a reaction to the governor's State of the State address.
Plus, one suspect pleads guilty in the plot to kidnap the governor, and Mid-Michigan Health announces a vaccine wait list.
You're watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Stewart.
And I'm Tyler Cruz. Well, Governor Whitmer gave her State of the State address Wednesday night, where she spoke on unity amongst parties and fixing the road ahead. This was Whitmer's third State of the State address. She mentioned the actions her office has taken to fight the pandemic and help the economy while speaking on the future of the fight against COVID-19.
I'm eager to work with President Biden, Vice President Harris, and our congressional delegation to end this pandemic and ramp up our economy. And I'll continue to reach out to Republicans here in Lansing. While common ground seems less and less common these days, it's never been more important that we work toward it.
And Democrats agree on the goals Whitmer addressed. Some state lawmakers may disagree on how to get there. WBKB spoke with Senator Jim Stamas, who represents Alpena and Michigan's 37th district, for his reaction to the governor's address.
And I think all of the items that she spoke about with our schools and kids, with getting a COVID response, with investment into infrastructure, those are all things that we agree on. We just don't necessarily agree on how to.
Senator Stamas says while he agrees with the governor's words last night, her actions say the opposite.
Well, one of the 14 suspects charged in the alleged plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer has pleaded guilty. Ty Garbin is the first suspect convicted in the case. He pleaded guilty to conspiring to kidnap the governor. Garbin has agreed to work with authorities to provide information that could be used against the other suspects. Prosecutors say Garbin was involved in every step of the foiled plot to kidnap the governor and overthrow the state government. Garbin's lawyer says it was time for his client to tell his truth.
This is about our client saying, look, I need to own up to what I did. It was wrong. I'm accepting responsibility. I'm sorry for having done it.
According to court documents, additional charges discussed prior to the plea deal include conspiracy to use weapons of mass destruction and possession of unregistered weapons and destructive devices. Garbin's sentencing is set for July. The 5 other federal defendants are scheduled to go to trial in March.
Well, the acting Secretary of Homeland Security has issued a national terrorism advisory. The bulletin was released Wednesday after Secretary David Pekoske consulted with the intelligence community and law enforcement partners. According to the advisory, there is a heightened threat environment across the U.S. that is likely to persist over the coming weeks. The Department of Homeland Security says it does not have any information to indicate a specific credible plot. However, they remain concerned about individuals frustrated with the presidential transition.
Mid-Michigan Health has implemented a patient vaccination wait list. The hospital says patient vaccination clinics are currently full as demand for the COVID-19 vaccine remains high while supply is limited. The hospital has a 4-step process for patients who wish to be added to the wait list. Patients without a My Mid-Michigan account may call 989-794-7600 and request to be added to the wait list.
If you or someone you know is looking for work, Alpena Public Schools may be able to help. APS is accepting applications for full-time custodian positions. This position would help maintain clean and safe school facilities while performing custodial and minor maintenance tasks. The school district is asking that applicants not submit an application to their Facebook page or district website. Instead, you go to willsub.com or call 989-358-5031. Consumers Energy has provided $3 million to help Michigan residents with heating bills. Along with the $20 million already provided across Michigan with pandemic-related needs, the Jackson-based energy company announced an additional $3 million to help Michiganders through the cold. The funds are dispersed throughout the state to nonprofit companies that help assist Michiganders. $675,000 will be given to Salvation Army to help residents pay their energy bills statewide. $150,000 was also given to the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund. The Iosco County Community Foundation Board is looking for their Philanthropist of the Year and needs the community's help in the selection process. For the past 9 years, they've been awarding philanthropists in the Iosco County area. According to Marketing Communications Director Christine Hitch, they're seeking nominations for anyone who's been working to make the county a better place. Hitch further explains what they're looking for in a nominee.
While a lot of the times we think of a philanthropist as somebody who gives lots and lots of money, that's not necessarily what this is all about. This is definitely somebody who gives financially, but also who gives of their time and their talents and their resources for the betterment of Iosco County. So they really want to lift up people who are doing good work to benefit the community.
Nominations are due March 1st, and to enter a submission, you can visit their website and select the About US drop-down for the Philanthropist of the Year tab.
Well, yesterday we told you about National Chocolate Cake Day. Today we have another sweet treat for you, sort of. Just in time for Valentine's Day, Kraft Mac and Cheese is launching a Candy Kraft Mac and Cheese. It's a twist on its classic mac and cheese with a candy flavor packet to turn the mac and cheese pink. And the new creation promises the same cheesy goodness with a hint of sweet candy flavor.
That's awesome. I don't think I'm going to try it, but that sounds awesome.
Well, there's more news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, a David and Goliath battle in the stock market.
And some warmer temperatures ahead over the weekend. I'll let you know about any chances of snow in the extended forecast coming up later in the program.
Thank you for that, Ellie. Well, I'm sure you guys have heard some of this story. A struggling retail chain is at the center of what some people call a David and Goliath struggle between big and small investors. Vladimir Duthiers reports from New York.
To Main Street, it's the world's largest video game retailer. But on Wall Street, GameStop is the latest battleground between the financial elite and small investors. Shares of the company have soared nearly 800% over the past week, driven by anonymous posts on the Reddit forum Wall Street Bets. Stephanie Mehta is editor-in-chief at Fast Company.
They're kind of sticking it to the big institutional investors, the hedge funds, by basically forcing the big guys to lose money because they had been shorting or betting against GameStop.
Here's what happened. All last year, GameStop was struggling, its stock selling at less than $20 a share. Big Wall Street investors saw an opportunity. They started shorting the stock, betting the price would drop. If it did, they would make money. But if it rose, they'd take a loss. That action angered small investors who used the Reddit forum to encourage others to buy, driving up the stock price dramatically and creating massive losses for those big-time Wall Street investors. On Wednesday, GameStop stock closed at almost $350 a share.
It is a company that sells products that are widely available online from other sources. It is competing against companies like Amazon. You can see why companies bet against it.
Some small investors said they made tens of thousands of dollars. One said it would help pay for medical treatment. But one major hedge fund, Citron Capital, says it took a 100% loss in covering most of its stake in GameStop.
What do you make of what's going on with GameStop?
I'm fascinated by it.
Jamie Rogozinski created the Wall Street Bets Reddit forum back in 2012. He says small investors like being the masters of their own Wall Street destiny.
There is something to be said about the fact that pretty much anybody can do it too, and watching them do it collectively is certainly a show.
But where there is reward, there is also risk.
At the end of the day, the best way to invest in the stock market is to either work with a financial advisor, work with a retirement portfolio manager. And if you do see a stock that you're interested in investing in, do the research and buy essentially on the fundamentals.
And it's not just GameStop. Reddit investors appear to already be moving on to their next targets. Movie theater chain AMC saw its stock surge more than 300% Wednesday after the hashtag SaveAMC began trending on Twitter. Vladimir Duthiers, CBS News, New York.
Well, in health news, is the moon affecting your sleep and the increased COVID risk for psychiatric patients? Nancy Chin has some of the day's top health stories.
People with schizophrenia are almost 3 times more likely to die from COVID-19. That's according to a study at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine that also found patients with other mental health issues, such as mood or anxiety disorders, were not at increased risk of death from COVID. New research at the University of California, San Francisco suggests alcohol consumption can be dangerous for people with atrial fibrillation. Scientists found that alcohol can change the electrical properties in the heart and increase the risk of an irregular heartbeat. And a full moon could impact your sleep. Researchers at the University of Washington found sleep cycles fluctuate during the 29.5-day lunar cycle. They say in the days leading up to a full moon, people go to sleep later and sleep for a shorter period of time. That's a look at some of the day's top health stories. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Well, coming up on WBKB News, Ellie Morrison is next with your 7-day forecast, plus the photo of
news at WBKB11.com.
And thank you for that, Ellie. What I do to have like a family of ducks living right in my backyard.
Sweet.
Sports is coming up next, but first we go to Jake Vanderbrook with a preview. Jake, what's popping tonight?
Hey, Tyler, what's shaking, cracking, popping? Rice Krispies. That's what's up. Anyways, coming up next in sports, one Detroit Red Wings player is calling it a career. More on that. Plus, we were able to check out some of these non-contact sport practices for the winter season and see how the kids were doing through the ban of contact sports. And they obviously have one simple message. More on that up next in sports.
And that's all we have for time tonight. You can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or be sure to check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
And that's all we have for you this evening. Be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 with Stephanie Manici. Have a great night.